Bless This House film. Bless This House is a 1972 British comedy film directed by Gerald Thomas, starring Sid James, Diana Coupland, Terry Scott, June Whitfield, and Peter Butterworth. It is a spin-off from the television sitcom Bless This House. Plot: in contemporary suburbia, somewhere in southern England, middle-aged home owner Sid James just wants to lie on his settee and snooze. He is initially frustrated by his wife. Their next-door neighbor, Mr. Hobbs, puts his house up for sale. The rude and arrogant Ronald Baines Terry Scott and his family move in next door, and things worsen. Sid works as a rep and is trying to sell to the Fizzo Drinks Company when his daughter Sally arrives with a group of environmentalists to protest the use of non-disposable containers. Meanwhile, Kate, Ronald's daughter, starts working next to Mike, Sid's son, and a romance begins to blossom. He drives her home in his psychedelic Morris Minor. Sid buys a garden shed and sits drinking there with his friend Trevor Peter Butterworth. They find a book about distilling and decide to create an illegal still in the shed. Sid tells his wife it is for making wine. In fact, they are distilling homemade rhubarb wine to create brandy. As Ronald is a customs and excise officer, this does not bode well. Mike and Kate get engaged, and the wedding day arrives. On the wedding day, a fire starts in the shed. Ronald and Sid put the fire out and miss the wedding. A fire engine gives them a lift to the church in time for the photos. Despite Mike getting married at the end of the film, he is still single when the TV series returned. Cast: the film starred many of the main actors from the TV series, but some were replaced, most notably Robin Stewart, who was replaced by Robin Asquith because he had already been booked for the summer season on Bournemouth Pier and could not also appear in the film, though Stewart would return for the remainder of the sixth series. Another change was the role of Trevor Lewis, played in the film by Peter Butterworth and on television by Anthony Jackson. Sid James as Sid Abbott, Diana Coupland as Jean Abbott, Terry Scott as Ronald Baines, June Whitfield as Vera Baines, Peter Butterworth as Trevor Lewis, Sally Geeson as Sally Abbott, Robin Asquith as Mike Abbott, Patsy Rollins as Betty Lewis, Carol Hawkins as Kate Baines, Janet Brown as Annie Hobbs, Julian Orchard as Tom Hobbs, Tommy Godfrey as Alf Murray, George A. Cooper as the cafe owner, cafe owner, Bill Maynard as Oldham, Marion Stone as Muriel, Wendy Richard as Carol, Patricia Franklin as Mary, Molly Weir as Mary's mother, Ed Devereaux as Jim, Johnny Briggs as truck driver, Frank Thornton as Mr. Jones, Norman Mitchell as police sergeant, Brian Osborne as removal van driver, Margaret Lacey as Vicar's wife, Georgina Moon as Moira, Michael Nightingale as Vicar June Whitfield, and Terry Scott would play a couple 2 years later in Happy Ever After and the follow-up Terry and June. Filming and locations. Filming dates 19 June 1 August 1972. Exteriors. The exterior shots of the houses were filmed at numbers 7 and 9 Bolton Avenue, Windsor. Several exterior scenes were shot in Burnham, a village in Buckinghamshire, including St. Peter's Church wedding scene, Church Street Magistrates Court/pub scene, and the High Street fire engine scene. Interiors. Pinewood Studios, Buckinghamshire, 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 Buckinghamshire,